This is Lord Thaddeus Cray, and this video is going to be a movie review of the film Devil's Gate. It's a fairly straightforward premise in its own right, or so you would think. It takes a very unique perspective on when it comes to aliens, and it also reveals about them and their manipulation of a family. The family, of course, is being played upon, their religious beliefs and everything else. This is a generational type of, almost like a victimization of this family by these creatures. I'm just going to leave it there, right there. There's not going to be too much in the way of spoiler territory with this. At least if I can help it. Now, there might be some, so I'm warning you right now. If that bothers you, stop listening. Okay, moving on from the disclaimer out there. The town itself is in, I believe, North Dakota. It is a town, ironically and clichely named, Devil's Gate. The deal is, what starts off this movie is there's a guy. He comes in there, he's looking, there's a farm. It's an isolated farm. This man obviously is broken down. He's looking for some help. Problem is, he steps into some traps and he ends up being killed. Pretty quick right off the bat. Damn near right before or not too long after the title shots. My point is this poor bastard is very dead, and there's a reason for it. The man who lives in that house, a man named Pritchard, he's one of the, family that was manipulated in very bad ways by these creatures. My point is this, he doesn't want people getting in or out, and there's a very interesting situation for why that's going on. Point blank, the police are being called upon by the man's missing, wife, her sister. She's like, you know what, man, this man's wife, my sister, his son, my nephew, they're missing. And you guys are incompetent. I want something done about this. This ain't good. And of course, what I mean by incompetent is the police. Unfortunately, I've seen this personally, when it comes to certain types of situations where people kind of are, at least in small towns, they can take a long time to respond, unfortunately. That's just the way it is with policemen out there. Am I saying they're incompetent? Heck no. Many times, I'll be honest, I trust myself in the hands of a small town sheriff, in some ways much more than any HPD cop, leave it at that. But, at the same time, again, you're dealing with small situations, small, widespread, it takes some time to respond. Unfortunately, that also goes through with missing cases. So for whatever reason, this young blonde FBI agent, yes, I know, stereotypical and cliche, but still, you gotta remember, this movie ain't Oscar-winning material, but it does make you think. I'll give it that. The thing is, of course, she's called in to help investigate, and let's just leave it at this. Once they do a welfare check on, the missing individuals, they find all kinds of problems. And what I mean by that is, the people you think are the bad guys are definitely not. The people you think that are people, you realize are not necessarily people. And yeah, let's just leave it at this. You're dealing with some aliens that definitely love their human beings. And I mean, they love their human beings and not necessarily just for dinner. What I mean is simple. This is probably the one spoiler I'm going to give away. Their race is dying, and they're needing help. Our help. Do we have a choice in it? No. Do they like us? No. Do they want to do they pretty much want to repopulate our planet with them? Well, it's a horror movie. You can figure that out yourself. But anyway, what I like about it, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave it out there, is definitely it's very creative. Like I said, the way they played even the body snatcher thing. They played that it was pretty cool. It was different. Much different. Think about this. A replacement that doesn't know they're a replacement. Leave it at that. No more, no less. That in itself, and of course they cloak themselves behind a family's religious beliefs. That right there is fascinating to me. And the reason I say that is because I believe firmly, personally, much in our regular, in our real life, I think that is definitely how, throughout our history, our lore of mankind, even Christianity, there are so many cases with things we don't understand. What do? Of course, you basically play it off as supernatural or beyond anything. And of course, even now it would seem that way. Because we do not understand super science. We don't understand things which are we're like ants trying to understand the theory of relativity. It's just not going to happen, especially when it comes to beings with greater knowledge as well as experiences than ourselves. That's just fact. I mean, only a fool would believe that we're the only ones out there. We're not. Congratulations. I'm just going to leave that straight out. However, this definitely plays on that fact. These, like I said, it's like this family believes these things are angels. It's very interesting how everything plays out. Like I said, they victimize this family, play on their beliefs, and warp everything. These things are insidious. I mean, my God, these things are so insidious. That's the thing about these aliens. I mean, they're horrifying. Yeah, that's another thing I'm going to go and bring up. This is one thing I did like. The way they made the aliens look. They made them simple but terrifying. Of course, it's all CGI, so I mean, you can expect it ain't going to be the best. But, like I said, this wasn't an Oscar-winning movie. And some people might actually think the movie was dull. I don't think it was, but that's me. Because the fact is, it makes you think. These creatures look almost like gray aliens, but when they get pissed off, they look like a cross between a cobra and a flying squirrel almost, I mean, I know it sounds funny, but it's not. Believe me, these things are just terrifying. And the powers they have, that in itself is pretty imposing stuff. They're very fragile. But at the same time, they're physically quite strong, as well as mentally. Mainly their telepathic and telekinetic abilities are nothing short of out there, man, I'm telling you. And the knowledge these things have, and the insidiousness, and the ability they have to actually just to use this with no remorse upon us. We're literally their guinea pigs on a petri dish. That in itself is just awful, to say the least. I mean, that's what they consider us. They consider us, I would say, less than animals, the way these things have manipulated us in this movie. It's just insidious. And the fact is, of course, near the end, I'm not going to go into spoiler details, but, the sheriff, let's just leave it at this. He brings up a very good point. And he's played by, I believe, Jonathan Frakes, if I remember right. Let me go ahead and double check on that. But I do believe so. If I'm wrong on that, then so be it. But I believe that was I think that was one of the people who was on Star Trek The Next Generation. I believe the secondary captain right under Picard. And I want to say Cisco, but I could be wrong with that. But anyway, very good actor. He did a good job. All the acting was far from, like I said, Oscar-worthy, but for the most part it was pretty good. All the way to the people who had some names to the no-namers, I mean, it was a very simple cast, too. It only had, like, a few people in it, so the movie was, like I said, it made you think, but it was not too complex. And that's the kind of thing I like about films. I do not like, my mind can be easily overrun because I think too much. But at the same time, that's more when it comes to the detail of things. This kept it simple, and that's what I liked about it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love, your space operas like Dune and things like that, which came out. And I might do a review on that. And yes, I've read the book. I've read probably all the books, actually. But that is a review for another time and a much later affair. But for now, that is pretty much what I'm going to just go ahead and leave at. Again, the name of the movie is called Devil's Gate. And I know I kind of tend to jump all over the place. That's just how I do things. Those of you who have listened to me know this already. But I'm just going to say this. If you get a chance, check the movie out. You will enjoy it. I'm almost guarantee you. And if not, hey, the worst thing you did was wasted about an hour and a half of your life you can't get back. So, I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys already know how to reach me. If y'all have anything you want told or your stories and experiences revealed and shared to other people. You want to have the chance to tell your encounters when it comes to cryptids. I'll go ahead and make sure you're on the Dogman Camp show, who was hosted by John Bell. Believe me, he's good at what he does, and we've had some top-notch guests as of late. I'll leave it at that. Jody Cook being the most recent one. Very interesting and fascinating man. And of course, we also have Sean Graham. He's the one that does the paranormal, supernatural kind of stuff. He is a very interesting man himself. He's had all kinds of amazing experiences. Just leave it at that. His show is Chasing the Truth. I'm the guy that pretty much gives guests for both of them where I can. And if y'all, and of course, if you want to share your experiences and stories with him, hit me up. You can reach me in the comment section, or you can also hit me up at wesvic@dogmancams.com. You guys already know the drill. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Be blessed and be safe out there.